Hi everyone, and welcome to my live creative time today. My name's Mandy Witherby from Mandy's Papercraft Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. I'm so excited about today, so I hope that we're going to have a few jump on. Let me just adjust that camera a little bit there. Yes, I have something super special today, but I'm not going to start yet until we have a few more people jump on. There we go, that's a bit better. Oh, just can't get that camera right today. So while we are waiting for everybody to jump on and to find their notifications, I will just bring this up on my other devices so that I can see everybody's comments. So as you're jumping on, say hi, let me know that you're here. And if this is your first time watching, let me know where you're watching from. We love to have new viewers join us, and we love to chat with you. Alrighty. Where's my mouse? There we go. Okay, good. All right, all my devices are working and happening, so that is super awesome. I feel like my phone is not sitting straight, but I think it's my stand. I think it looks okay on camera, but yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard to tell without looking at the replay. So yeah, as I was saying, I have something super exciting to share with you today. I have a 3D project. It is something that I have created myself and I've not seen anything like this before. Well, currently I haven't seen anything like this, but it was inspired by one of our stamp sets, but it's not using our stamp sets. We're using a lot of dies today. But yeah, I've got a very special recipient who will be receiving this card. So I'll wait for a few moments for more people to jump on before I tell you too much about it, because I want to be sure that everybody has found their notifications, that they've seen I'm going live, and that everyone is joining me. So as you're jumping on, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. Make sure you've got your cuppa or a nice cold drink if it's hot where you are. It's quite hot and humid where we are today, so we've got the aircon cranking, and I just put some ice in my water today actually. I will have a cup of tea later on when it cools down, but right now I'm a little bit too hot to have a cup of tea, but I do usually like my cuppa. But yeah, so we are just going to chat for a few moments and then we'll get crafting with this really fun project that I have for you today. So while we are waiting, let me tell you a little bit about my weekend. On Saturday, I had my monthly team gathering with my beautiful team, the Papercraft Gems, and we had a lovely afternoon. We had our team gathering where we welcome our new team members, and we had 2 new team members to welcome this month, which was awesome. And then we do some team recognitions. Then I give everyone some Stampin' Up! News and bring everybody up to date. I show them where to find things on the demonstrator website and all sorts of fun things like that. Give them a bit of behind the scenes look at things, which is a perk that we have as demonstrators. And then we had a creative time, and oh, I think I put my card away actually. I did too. You might have seen me post it yesterday. We had our creative time together and I gave them a mystery stamping challenge, which was really fun. So I created a project, then I wrote out all the instructions, and I gave them all the instructions step by step, but I didn't show them the project. I didn't show them the finished product, so that they could interpret the instructions however they liked. And then at the end, we had so many different and beautiful projects. Everyone did such a great job. And I did give them a list of suggested supply items beforehand, so they had a bit of a guideline as to what they could use. And yeah, they were all so wonderful. And we had some cards that were landscape, some cards that were portrait, and they were all so beautiful. And then I shared with them my card where my inspiration came from for that challenge. And it was really fun. Everyone really enjoyed it, and it was something a little bit different to get everybody's creative juices flowing. So I love doing different things like that with my team. So every month when we have our team gathering, we have a creative time together as well. So we come together via Zoom, because we have team members all over Australia. And yeah, and we have a really lovely time together. And during our creative time, we can chat and catch up on things, and yeah, just get to know each other a little bit better and just have fun creative time together. So it was really great. We love our creative times each month. So that's a little bit about that. Now let me tell you about celebration. Talking about team, at the moment, if you don't already know, we have our celebration, or Stampin' Up has their celebration promotion running. It started on the 5th of January and it goes until the 28th of February. So just the 2 months. It's the only celebration we're going to be having this year. So if you've gotten used to over the last couple of years having a couple of celebrations a year, Stampin' Up have changed it and we're only having one this year. But there's lots of other exciting things coming throughout the year. So don't wait till later in the year thinking, I'll wait till the next celebration, because this is the only one. So during celebration, with qualifying orders of 90 Australian dollars, you get to choose a free product from the celebration brochure. So with those orders, that can be orders of any product that is current, whether it's in the online store, the annual catalogue or the mini catalogue. And then when your order reaches $90, you get to choose a free celebration item. Then if your order gets to $180, you can choose either 2 of the items in here that are listed for the $90 selection, or you can choose one of the $180 selection items, which is usually a larger product or has more components to the product. And you can choose them absolutely free. So that is going on at the moment. So if you haven't already taken advantage of celebration, be sure to do that. Now the other thing is during celebration, there is an option for you to join Stampin' Up with the starter kit and get a whole heap more product for free. So during celebration, at the moment, there are a couple of different options. So you can choose $315 worth of product and only pay $169. So you're getting $146 worth of product for free, which is almost double what you pay for the starter kit. You can choose whatever you want to put in that starter kit, and then you get an ongoing 20% discount on your Stampin' Up products after that. Now you don't need to sell products, so don't be concerned, because a lot of people think, oh, but I don't want to sell. That's okay, you don't have to. You can just purchase the products for yourself and enjoy the discount. Come along and enjoy our wonderful stamping community. My crafting community, the Paper Craft Gems, we also have a Facebook group where we interact in every day. It's a busy little group. There's always lots happening, and I keep everybody up to date, and people are sharing their projects, and we have challenges, and I do prize draws and all sorts of things. And from time to time we have additional creative get-togethers, and then we've started to also do things like get together for lunch and things like that. So, and we've got a couple of other things planned this year for our team to get together in person as well. So lots of fun things happening in our team. So if you would like to be part of that crafting community, or you would like to find out more, please ask me. And I'd love to give you as much information as I can about joining Stampin' Up and about joining my team. Now, so that was the first option, $315 worth of product for only $169. Plus you get free shipping on that starter kit order too. So that's super awesome. The other offer is with the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let me grab mine. So this is our little mini machine. If you haven't already seen it, it's the baby brother of or baby sister of the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And this one is great for having on your desk, for traveling, going to crops or classes and things like that. It has a smaller feeding platform than the big one, but most of the dies will fit in this. Just some of the larger dies won't fit in this. And Stampin' Up has also produced some embossing folders that fit with this machine as well. Some of the bigger embossing folders do need the big machine, but there's quite a few of the smaller embossing machines that fit, embossing folders that fit the small machine now too. One of which we're using today. So the offer with the mini machine, so currently there's the white machine, which is always available. At the moment during celebration, there is also one that is called Boho Blue. So Boho Blue is going to be a new in color that's coming in May in the new annual catalogue. little sneaky peek of one of the new in colors. And I'm just finding it here in my brochure. There it is. So you can choose the boho blue machine. There's another picture there of it with the platforms open. Or you can choose the white machine. And you can still choose the $315 worth of product, and all of that you're only going to pay $210 for. So that's a total of $215 worth of value for free. Plus you get free shipping as well. So that offer, you're actually doubling your money basically, because you're only paying $210, but you're getting $425 worth of value. So that is super awesome. So it's a great time to join at the moment. So if you would like more information about that, please let me know. I do have a joining link, so let me grab that for you. But you are welcome to contact me and ask me any questions first before, hang on a minute, before you make that decision, just to make sure that that is the right decision for you and that you would like to join my team. All right, so let me grab that link for you. I have to find the right, here it is here. Okay. I'll just copy that and I'm going to pop that into the comments here. Now, all of these links that I'm putting up in the comments, they will be in the description of these videos, both here on Facebook and on YouTube, once I upload the videos there at the end when I finished filming. But yeah, so that is there. Now, the other thing is too, with Celebration, is Stampin' Up! Has just released a second release of products. So there is more. So as well as choosing from the brochure, which I just put down, there it is. As well as choosing from the brochure, you now also have the option of choosing these products as well. So if you already redeemed what you wanted out of the brochure in January, for February, there's more things to redeem now. So we've got a couple of kits. These products are all current products that you can now get for free. So we've got a couple of our kits. There's some ribbon from the annual catalogue, an embossing folder, and a couple of punches all from the annual catalogue. Then we've got some designer series paper from the mini, and the oh my goodness, I went blank. The decorative masks, the loveliest layers, decorative masks from the mini catalogue. And then there's the Hive 3D embossing folder as well from the annual. And so those ones with the blue dots, they're all free with a $90 order. And then down here, we've got the Eden's Garden bundle, which is free with a $180 order. So that is the stamp set and the dies combined. Well, both products. Yeah, for free with a $180 order. So that is absolutely awesome. So check those out in my online store, and you can get to my online store via my blog, but I will also put up a link for that too. So let me pop the link for that in the comments. Oops, no, I don't want to open up that one. Which one am I opening? This one. This is the one. And I do have a host code for this month as well. So I've got a new host code for oh, I just pressed the wrong button. Hang on a sec. There we go. I have a new host code for February. So I'm going to pop that in the comments as well, because when you shop with me, there's a link there directly to my online store. But when you shop with me and use my host code, if your order is over $75, I will send you a thank you gift as well. So there's my February 2023 host code. So it's RPUFJ94R. I'm reading that back to front on screen. Hopefully I read that round the right way. And if you're looking for my online store, you can click the link that I've just popped in the comments here on Facebook, or you can go to my blog or my website. So my blog is mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com. And my website is mandywitherby.stampinup.net. So there's a shop link on both of those. Hey Brenton, how are you? Great to see you. I'm very excited about my project today, Brenton. Wait until you see it. Oh my goodness, it's going to blow your mind. It's a 3D project that I designed for my son's birthday. It's his birthday tomorrow. So I've designed a very special card using lots of different dies today. And it's a 3D card, well, it's a 3D project, which I've turned into a card. Yeah, so it's super exciting. I'm super excited about this one. I actually lay awake quite a lot last night thinking about this, wondering how I can improve the card, and yeah, all different things came to mind, all these extra ideas and things, as you do early hours of the morning. Yeah, so that's all about celebration. Now, the other thing I wanted to let you know is I have got a new class up and running. Well, not up and running yet, but the registrations are open for my Fragrant Flowers card box card. In this class, we're going to be making 4 cards and a card box to store those cards in as well, or to store any cards that you have. We're going to decorate that and create that box. So the registrations close on Sunday the 12th of February. I just had to bring that forward a little bit because I will be in hospital having my back dealt with so on the usual date, but yeah, so it'll be, registrations close on the 12th of February, so check that one out. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and the link will also be in the description of the video, but you can go there and check out all the details for that class. There we go. Let me grab that link and I'll pop that straight into the comments so you can go and check that out and see what's in that class. But it's a beautiful class, and there's 2 options. So there is a full class option with all the products and everything that you need. There's an add-on as well if you want to purchase the stamp set that goes with it as well. That's an optional add-on. And then also too, there is a PDF option as well if you just would like to purchase the PDF. So if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator yourself, or if you're overseas, because I can only supply classes and products to people here in Australia, then if you would like to purchase the PDF, I can actually send that or sell that to anyone around the world. So yeah, so be sure to check that class out. They are beautiful, beautiful projects in this class. So yeah, it's going to be a really good one. Alrighty. We had some new kits released recently. I spoke about those last week. So be sure to check out the kits collection in the online store. But I really want to get onto this project because I'm so excited about it. I want to get it underway, and I think it's going to be one that might take a little bit of time today, although I've already prepared a lot of it, but I am going to show you how I did it. So, hey Rose, how are you? Great to have you here today. Hey Laurie, great to have you here as well. Alrighty, so we are going to get on with the project, with the program, with the project. Let me just put my die cutting machine away for a moment, out of the way. Pop that down here. I've got my die cutting trolley right beside me today because I was using it early hours of this morning, and I thought I'm going to need that today. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I will tip the camera down onto the desktop so that we can get started, and I'm so excited to show you this project. So here we go. I'll cover up the camera so I don't make you dizzy while I just transition down to the desk. So here we go. All right, so flip those cameras, and I'll just adjust my stand. Oh, I did that up tight today. I'll adjust my stand. And hopefully I'll get this lined up well and my camera will stay put. The other day I was filming with my team and my camera kept dropping. There we go. But I did have it in a different orientation on my stand. Oh, I forgot to lower that. Let's lower that so you're a little bit closer to the desk. How's that? Zoom right in. You'll be wanting to see this up close as I create. So you'll notice that I've got grid paper today because we are going to get a little bit messy. Not too much, not too messy, but a little bit. So I'm just going to move this over a tad so that I'm working in the center of the camera. So let's see, did I go the right way? Yes, that's better. Okay, and I might lift that up a bit higher so that you can see the bottom of the grid paper there. And then that gives me a guideline too that I am in the center. All right, so that I can make sure that I don't go off camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll bring my lights over. Now, any of the products that I'm using today are available in my online store. So be sure to check them out if you haven't already seen them. Oh, that's not even straight, is it? Let me straighten that up a little bit for you, because that would be annoying watching that whole thing crooked. There we go. That's a little bit better. A tad more, I think. I like to have it nice and straight. Nothing worse than watching, oh, that went the wrong way, didn't it? Nothing worse than watching someone recording and it's all wonky. Okay. All right. So I am creating a very, oh my goodness, I keep going the wrong way. I thought I had it straightened up and then I tweaked it and it went the wrong way. We'll get it right in a minute. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there now. So it's my son's birthday, right, tomorrow. And usually my daughter Amber will make a very special card for him. But she hasn't had time to this time. So she said to me, Mum, I'm leaving it up to you to make a card. So I've got a lot to live up to because she always does these amazing 3D projects for him. Well, for everybody actually, when it's their birthdays, she does amazing projects. And so I was a bit like, oh gosh, well, my card's going to be, you know, boring in comparison. And then, so he loves Mexican food. So I thought, oh, I'm going to use the Taco Fiesta card and I'll do something really cool with that because that'll be a lot of fun. He'll love it because he loves Mexican food and his favorite Mexican food is tacos. So, so he gets me to make them quite regularly. Usually every week we have tacos at least once a week. And so I thought I'll use this card. So the more I was thinking about tacos, the more I was thinking, well, what do I want this card to look like, etc., etc. And then I thought, you know what if I made a taco? What if I made a card that was a taco? How would I do that? So I started looking through all of my dies. Amber said she can't outdo me this time. She has seen my prototype. She said it's going to be so cool. Yes, so she's seen my prototype. I was up till early hours of the morning. Anyway, so this is how my creative brain works. So I was thinking about tacos, thinking, okay, I'll use this stamp set. And then I thought, well, what if I made something that looked like an actual taco? So what I did was I started playing around with a few different things. I was looking to see what dies I had that I might be able to use to make the different components of a taco, etc., etc. Then I was trying to make the taco shell itself and I thought, hang on a minute, let me just go and grab a taco shell out. So I grabbed a taco shell out of the cupboard, put it in a sandwich bag, of course, because they are greasy and I don't want any grease on my desk because, you know, we don't want oils on our hands when we're creating projects. So I grabbed out a taco shell and I've had that sitting there all night as inspiration for making this card, for the size, the shape, the color, the texture, etc., etc. And then I started thinking about the different components of a taco. So in our tacos, they're pretty basic. We have ground beef, or usually I will use my spaghetti meat, because my husband will have spaghetti bolognese, my son and I will have tacos. Amber usually have a salad taco because she's vegetarian. And Brooke, when she's at home, she normally has spaghetti because she can't eat tacos. So we've got all these different dietary requirements and things happening in our household. So mealtime is very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, so we have ground beef and then we have lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese. Well, my son actually doesn't eat tomatoes on his tacos. He normally has meat and cheese and sweet chili sauce. He likes sweet chili sauce and stuff like that. So, but I thought, I'm going to make a traditional taco as a card. So that's where my where my idea sort of stemmed from. Then I started looking at what we had. Okay, I started looking at colors. So I was looking at the taco shell, deciding on colors and things like that. So what I went with was So Saffron. So Saffron is a color that I don't use a whole heap, I have to be honest. It's a lovely color. I just don't use it a lot. But it's the closest I could get to a taco. So then I thought, well, hang on a minute. Okay, so how am I going to create the base of the card? So what I ended up doing was I created the taco first, because then I thought, well, what am I going to do? So this was my original taco. Okay, so it's just a half a taco, really. It's not even a full taco. It's just like, you know, a 2D taco shell. And I thought, well, it doesn't look much like a taco shell just on its own. So then what I did is I got out my ink and a blending brush, and I blended around the edges. Now you might wonder how I got this beautiful taco shape. Well, I went hunting and found an old compass. So with a compass, we can make a perfect circle, or a semicircle in this case. So I measured the size I'd need for my card. I'm telling you all my secrets here. Measured the size I would need. So I measured halfway across, you know, measured the center halfway across. Okay, that's going to be the diameter. So then I did that, put that in the middle of my cardstock, drew a semicircle, and that's where I started. Then I realized overnight that I actually, when I was putting it all together, I realized I need more of a full taco. I need a base as well, because once I fill this taco, this might not sit down nicely on the card. Anyway, so got out my ink. So we will progress from here. Got out my ink, blended around the edges. Then I got out my Stampin' Right markers and I did a bit of splattering. And here we have the taco shell. So let's compare that with an actual taco shell. And we're getting a lot closer now. See that? Does that look more like a taco shell now? So all I did was I took my So Saffron ink, inked it up, and I went around all of the edges quite a few times to get a bit more coloring, a bit more coloration in there. Okay. The next step I did with my Stampin' Right markers is I took off the lid from the brush tip end, and I'm going to move my actual taco shell away for this because this is a bit messy, and my stamp set. This is why we have the paper down today. And I did the flicking technique. Have you seen this? Have you seen the flicking technique? So what you do is you basically take the lid of your marker, and this only works with the brush tip, and you put the tip of the brush into the lid. Hang on, let me bring my light back over so you can see. And you flick. You just do a flicking motion like that across your cardstock or your paper. So you do that several times, and then you get that. So I did it with the two different colors. I used early Espresso and soft Suede. So that's how I created the taco shell, and I think it turned out pretty good. It's a pretty good comparison to an actual taco shell. I think that's probably the closest you could get. Yeah, because the taco shell has got little bits of corn and little bits of, you know, stuff in it. But then I decided that I needed a full taco shell. So what I did was, well, first of all, actually, I created a template. So this is the template that I cut first before I cut this one. So I got my compass and I took a white piece of cardstock and I drew my semicircle, and then I cut that out with scissors, and I've now used that as a template to then trace around, and I'll keep this as a template. Traced it around with a pencil onto my So Saffron, rubbed out the pencil mark if there was any pencil mark left. Oh, sorry, trimmed it, cut it out with my paper snips, and then rubbed out the pencil mark, and then did all the coloring and stuff on it. But then this morning I decided, no, I actually think I need a full taco. So what I did was I took a piece of cardstock. So this is just a regular folded piece of cardstock. Okay, we want the taco shell to be opening at the bottom, because when we eat a taco, we eat it like that, right? We hold it like that. So what I did is I took my template and I popped that along the bottom of my folded piece of card, so along the fold. Took my pencil, you need a fine tip pencil for this, traced around it, okay, then cut that out with my snips, and you get this, okay. And then I went ahead and I did the inking again, as I had done with the first taco, that was the 2D taco. So I did the same thing. I did all the inking and the splattering. So this is going to be the front of the taco. The back part of the taco is going to be adhered to the card, but then I've also done the inside here as well. Okay, so that's how I did it. All right, so because in case that shows, it probably won't show because it's going to be filled with stuff, but just in case it is, yeah, I did the inside as well, just in case. So that's how we created that. Okay, so that's our first step. Now I decided that I was going to need an insert, and we'll get to the insert later. But then I needed a card base to put this on, because you can't just have that just as a card on its own. Okay, we needed something to put that on. So what I did is I designed the taco itself first and all the components. Then I worked out what type of card base I was going to have for it. And I decided to use, so this is just a regular piece of A4 cardstock cut in half lengthways. And then what I did, it's a big project, this one. I took my basic border dies and I used that, the arced one, and I laid that on my cardstock, ran that through. So I had my card already cut, scored, folded, put the die on, ran that through my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine twice, because it's a bit wider than the feeding mouth for the small machine. So I ran it through twice to make sure that it would cut through both layers. So we've now got a card base that is in a bit of a semicircular shape, but it's not quite to the same as this. But once we fill the taco, you won't really see it. But just so that it sort of was continuing in that same sort of shape. Because I did have it originally just an ordinary rectangle card, but I didn't like it because you could see the corners of the card. And this way you won't be able to. All right, so that's the card base and the taco. Next step was to create the fillings. So we have fillings. Okay, let me show you the fillings. We have lettuce. We have the beef. We have little cherry tomatoes, because I didn't have the large citrus. There is a large citrus Stampin' die set at the moment, which I don't have. But I have an old one. I'm going to show you where I got all these from. And then we have all the cheese, which I have created as well. So I'm going to show you how to create each of those components, and then we're going to put it all together. Okay, so I've got those all already. I've already stamped my sentiment and everything as well. So how cool is this lettuce? Doesn't that look like real lettuce? You're going to be so surprised when I show you how I made that. So easy. But you're going to be surprised what I used to make that with. All right, let's start off first of all with the lettuce. Okay, that's our first filling of our taco. So let me just double check on comments over here on, I'll just do a refresh, make sure that I'm seeing all comments. I'll go back over here. Come on, refresh. There we go. Okay. All right. Laurie said, wow. I'm glad I refreshed because I didn't actually see that come up. Yeah, I think my screen had frozen a little bit. All right, there we go. Oh, hi Dimity. I don't know if I said hello to you. I don't think I did. I think you snuck in the back door there. All right, so we've got our taco shell done. Okay, so we've got this large circle. Well, it's kind of not quite a circle because the edges here are a little bit straight, but you saw how I created that. So that's our taco shell. Oh, the other thing too with the taco shell is we needed the front to curl a little bit like a taco shell. Okay, normally with the taco shell they have like a wide base. With this being a card, I couldn't do that and have it sit nicely on the card, so it's got a narrower base here, but I still wanted the edges to curl. So I did two things. The first thing I did is I took my bone folder and I just curled the front like this. I did that a few times. The back needs to stay flat because we're going to adhere that to the back of our card. Okay, so that's going to be flat. We just want the front to be curled. Okay, can you see that? The other thing you can do is get the edge of your desk, which I can't show you because I don't have the camera on the edge of my desk, and you roll the cardstock across the edge of your desk, like the very edge, and that helps to break down the fibers and gives you that curl as well. So when you're using larger pieces like that, if you have trouble using the bone folder to do that, you use the edge of your desk and roll it along the edge of your desk. Okay. All right. For the lettuce, now you're going to be surprised at how I created this lettuce. For the lettuce, you might remember this set. It's from the annual catalogue, The Blessings of Home. The Blessings of Home bundle has a stamp set and dies. Now this big stamp set here has a die. Okay, this is the die set here. I went through all of my dies last night finding something that might be appropriate, and this die worked perfectly. So this is from the Flowers of Home dies from the annual catalogue. Okay, you'll find it in the annual catalogue, and you can find it in the dies and in the bundles. And so what I did is I took a piece of Granny Apple Green. I'm going to show you how I created this. Granny Apple Green cardstock. I die cut one of those large, well, it's not an image, that large shape, which kind of still didn't really look like lettuce. So what I did was I'll move this one away because this one's been made already. I took one of the water spritzers, which you can also find in the online store and in the annual catalogue. And I spritzed, now I don't have, hang on a sec, I do have. I'm just going to put some paper towel down to protect my grid paper. So what I did is I spritzed this with water. Whoop. Give it a good spritzing of water, both sides, front and back. Okay, let that absorb into, where did I put the lid now? There it is. These spritzers are awesome, and you can also mix your re-inkers into these to make coloured spritzing to spritz on your projects. So, and you can mix them also too with rubbing alcohol, and they dry really quickly. Now this is paper, of course, so it's going to get wet and soggy. So what I did is, while it was wet and soggy, is I scrunched it up. And I scrunched it up really good, and I scrunched it a few times. Just pressed it into the tightest ball that I could, made sure that all the bits were getting scrunched, turn it in the other way, and scrunch, and scrunch. And I just played with it for a little while to give it all a good scrunching. Now some of the cardstock does start to break down a little bit because I made it very, very wet, but that's okay. It adds to the texture. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to open this back up. Now it's starting to resemble a piece of lettuce. Now if you're not happy with the scrunches, you can scrunch it again. Okay, and then we just set it aside to dry. Okay, so we need to let that dry. It'll take a little while to dry. Okay, so we set that aside to dry. Then and I'll just turn that in that way so I can pop that over there. From that, I have my dry piece of lettuce, okay? Still looks a little bit more like lettuce, still not quite like lettuce. It looks like crumpled green cardstock. So then what I did is I took my Granny Apple Green ink and a sponge dauber and, whoops, hang on a minute, everything's falling here. There we go. And a blending brush. Now has got a few bits and pieces on it from last night. And then what I did was I took my blending brush, loaded that up with Granny Apple Green, and brushed it all over my piece of cardstock, especially around the edges. And you start getting some of that texture coming through as you add the ink. Then what I did is I took my dauber. Now you could probably just do one or the other, but I did both because I really wanted to make sure I got a good covering of ink. Now with the sponge dauber, you get a bit more concentration of ink in the places that you lay it down because it's a smaller sponge and it's a bit of a firmer sponge than the bristles on the blending brush, which are a lot softer. Okay, and then you can just go across some of those scrunch marks with your ink as well. Make sure that they all stand out really well. And you end up with an awesome lettuce leaf. There you go. That's how I created the lettuce leaf. Isn't that so cool? And I just discovered this through playing. And I mean, scrunching is a technique I've known of for a really long time. And I like to do that sometimes on some of my projects, but I usually flatten it out quite a bit more than this. But I needed lettuce, so I needed it to be quite, you know, scrunchy to look like lettuce. So that's how I created the lettuce leaf. So I made 3 of those. Okay, so now I've got a spare one too. For the next step, we needed to create the mints for the taco. And I've got these 2 little bits here. Now, you might think, well, they don't look much like mints. But when I tuck them into my taco and I layer them, they're just going to look like a little bit of mints sticking out the edges. Thanks, Laurie. Laurie says, how clever. It's amazing what you can come up with when you just start playing with things. And it's fun. So we're going to have a little bit, we're going to layer these up and we're just going to have a little bit of mints just showing out the sides of, we'll position them a bit better once we get them in the actual taco. Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of mince on this side and a little bit of mince on that side. To create the mince, what I used was, oops, actually let me just put this die away so that I don't lose that. Okay, next for the mince, there is this set called Cup of Tea. And I love this. This is so gorgeous. It's such a beautiful set. I've loved having a play with this one. But see this one here? So this one here, these leafy bits here, they have a die. And guess what? The die is awesome for the mince. So what I did is I took some early espresso cardstock. I die cut a couple of these, okay. That's the one I used. This is the Teacup dies. So you would never think that you could make mints from leaves or foliage. Okay, so then what I did is I die cut those. And then I thought, well, they need a bit of texture because, you know, mince is very textured. Oh, thanks, Rose. You love my lettuce. Great imagination. Yeah, it's just playing and I just had these ideas and thought, how can I make this work? So if I hold that up to the camera, you might be able to see that this mince has got some texture to it because, of course, you can't have flat mince. You know, mince is textured, very bulky. So this is how I came up with getting a little bit of texture in it. I took those little pieces of that I had die cut from the Teacup dies, and I ran them through the Splatters the splattered embossing folder from the Stripes and Splatters 3D embossing folder, which fits through your mini machine. So let me show you. Oop. Hang on a minute, I've got an extra piece of cardstock in there. There we go. So the Stripes and Splatters, I had a look at all the different textures that I had. It is a great, Amber says it's great to see the products can be used in a different way when you think outside of the box. That's exactly right. So I popped them all in there together. I had 4 of them. I popped them all in there together in different spots around the embossing folder, ran that through my embossing machine, and then you've got the texture that you need in the mints. So there we go. And we're going to overlap them so that we have little bits, and we're not going to use all of it. It's just going to be sticking out of the edge of the taco. So there you go. So that's how I created the mince, or the mince meat, or I think in America, what do you call it? Minced beef or diced beef? I'm not sure what you call it. What do you call it? Are you still here, Laurie? What do you call it? Do you call it minced beef in America? I'm not sure. We just call it mince here. But it's, yeah, it's beef mince that's just minced up. Beef meat, which is just minced up. Yeah. All right, so that is our beef. For the tomatoes, so I made little cherry tomatoes, okay, because I didn't have any large dies that I could use for big tomatoes. So we're making cherry tomatoes. So I also used the cup of tea dies, and there's a little citrus wedge here. It could be lemon, it could be lime, could even be orange. I used that. So I'm going to show you how to make those. So we'll take out both of those. So we've got the 2 dies that make up the citrus. And in this case, it's going to be a cherry tomato. So what I did was, I needed 2 colors, okay, because you'll notice that I've got the detail is a darker color, and then you've got the lighter color, which is the inside of the tomato, and you can notice there's even some little seeds in there that I created. I'll show you how to make those too. So I'm going to get my cardstock out. I've got 2 colors of cardstock. I've got Real Red, which is the deeper color, and I've got some Poppy Parade, which is the lighter color, because the Poppy Parade is sort of more of a pinky orangey red, and I thought that'd be great for the inside of a tomato. Now you'll notice that the outside part, the darker part, is very fine, this die here. It's very, very fine, so it can be tricky to glue. So what I did is I took some of our adhesive sheets, so you can find these in the Stampin' Up store. Now these are the old ones that Stampin' Up used to carry. I'm still working with a lot of the old ones. Stampin' Up now has their own brand ones that they stock, and I did label them so that I could show you where to find them in the catalog. If you're looking in your annual catalog, it's in the adhesive section, and they're called adhesive sheets, okay? So that's where you'll find them. Number 6, this is them here. So in the pack you get 12 sheets, and they're 6 by 12 inches. So you get heaps, they last you for ages. Hence why I'm still going on my old packet from eons ago. So what I did is I had some scraps of cardstock. These were in larger pieces first, and then I cut them down into smaller sizes. Later on I'll explain why. What I did is I had larger pieces of cardstock, and I cut some pieces that would fit from my adhesive sheet, put it onto the cardstock, okay, and now it's going to turn into a sticker basically. It's still got the paper backing on it, but it's adhered to the cardstock, okay. And then what I did is I measured the size of the dies, and I just cut little strips so that I can just run one through at a time, because we only have one, and I didn't want the rest of the cardstock to get marked going through my machine. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mini machine, and I'm going to show you how to make these. I hope you're enjoying my process, my creative process. I'm giving you all my secrets. I thought, will I give everyone my secrets, or will I just upload the photo later and do something else today. And I thought, you know what? No, share the creativity and share the ideas with other people, because, you know, that's what I love to do. All right, so we're going to take our base plate. So this is our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is the one that you can get as part of your starter kit at the moment. If you join during celebration, and you can get it at a great discount. Just noticed I've got green fingers from doing the, I have a wipe here, from creating our lettuce. There we go. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is the Poppy Parade, which is the lighter color, is going to be the solid piece. Okay, so we'll lay our die on there. And I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape because I don't have much room to spare on this little piece of cardstock. Okay, so we'll hold that down there. This piece is the one that's got the adhesive sheet already attached to the back. Now, it's not sticky yet because I have not removed the backing paper yet. Okay, so we're going to put our little piece on here that creates the wedges of the cherry tomato. And we'll adhere that down with a little bit of washi. Now these dies have a straight edge, okay, along the bottom. Make sure you put them in at an angle to help them to feed through the machine much more easily. Otherwise they can catch a little bit on the rollers as they go through and be a little bit harder to feed through your machine. So just make sure anything with a straight edge goes through at an angle. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Okay, so now what we have is we have the inside of our tomato, and we have the piece that creates the wedge. So I'll just grab my take your pick tool, poke that out of there. There we go. Now all those little wedges, because I've got the adhesive sheet on the back of it, they should probably come out when I take the adhesive, the backing off the adhesive now. So now basically this piece has become a sticker because we've got the adhesive sheet on the back of it. It's turned that into a sticker. So I'm just going to put my dies straight back on my die sheet because they're only little and I don't want to lose them. And last night I was cutting so many tomatoes and I kept on putting them down thinking, where have I put them? Okay, so now if I'll get rid of those. Now this piece that has got the backing, the sticky on it, don't put that in the rubbish, don't put that in the recycling, okay? That one needs to go in the rubbish bin because it's got that sticky adhesive sheet on it. All right, so put that one in the rubbish bin. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to peel the adhesive, the backing off that adhesive, just like you would with like your Stampin' Dimensionals. And see all those little wedges just come out. Oh, that one didn't. And now this is sticky, like a sticker. And we're just going to adhere that onto the backing of the tomato, the cherry tomato. Okay, so there we go. That's how we layer those up. But now we need to add the little seeds. So let's get rid of these. These bits need to go into the rubbish bin, not the recycling, because they can't be recycled, those bits. All right. So now we're going to take a, let me find it. It's hiding here somewhere. Oh, it's gotten caught in amongst all my dies. We're going to take a Poppy Parade Stampin' Right marker and we're going to use the tip. Now, did you know that you can actually create teardrop shapes using the tip of your marker? You can create teardrop shapes, you can create seeds, which is what we're going to create right now. I've got a little bit of a scrap here, I'll show you. All you need to do is to push your tip down and lift it up like that, okay? So depending on which way you want, let me show you. See how it's narrower at the top and then curved at the bottom, like a teardrop shape. That's how you create teardrops or seeds. Now we only want tiny seeds in these, so we're not pushing it as hard as that. We're just going to do little ones like this. Okay, we're going to do really little tiny ones like that on our little cherry tomato. And you can do that with any of, if you're creating citrus, you can do that with any of the citrus. Okay, so again, all you need to do is just put your brush down and just push like that. Okay. Rose says amazing. You didn't know that trick either, Rose? Oh, there you go. I learned this trick a long time ago when my sister-in-law was teaching me to do face painting many moons ago before I had my children. And that was one way that we used to create flowers, because you can actually create a flower. You can also create a love heart. Whoops. Oh, I mucked that one up. I moved it too quickly. Oh, like that. Okay, so you can create a little, I just mucked that one up because I slipped. You can create a love heart. Oh, that way and that way. Got to work out which way. So you can create a little love heart, doing that too. And you can create flowers. So using a pointed paintbrush, you can actually do them a lot bigger. And that's one way that we used to do flowers when I was learning face painting many moons ago, which I don't do anymore. So don't ask me. I can't do that anymore. It's been too long. All right, so we need to create these little seeds now. So we're going to just do some of those little, oh, and I'm going the wrong way, this way. Oh, I think I mucked that one up. That's okay, I've already got some made, so it's all good. Anyway, you get the idea. I've shown you on the bigger piece of cardstock. Okay, I mucked that one up a little bit, but because I was rushing, but you end up with this. So if I hold that up to the camera, can you see the little seeds there now? See? So now we've got the seeds in the tomatoes, in the cherry tomatoes. Now, these have a lot of seeds. You might not want to put as many seeds in your cherry tomatoes, but totally up to you. Some tomatoes have more seeds than others. So there we go. So that's how we create our tomatoes. Okay, so we've got all of the components except the cheese. Now, the cheese was another story because I wasn't sure how to get the right color of cheese. So what I did is I went to my fridge and I took out the packet of cheese and I had that sitting here on my desk. Oh, you love it, Rose? Awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad I can teach you some more tips and tricks. So I needed to create cheese and I had the cheese here, and the lightest yellow color was the Saffron. And because I'm using that for the taco, I thought, well, I can't use that for the cheese as well. It turns out that the cheese that we had in the fridge is actually lighter than that anyway. So what I did, I was trying to make it as true as to color as possible. So I took a piece of Very Vanilla and I took my Saffron ink with my Saffron blending brush. Whoops. And this occurred in a few stages because I had to go back and add some additional things. But this time I can show you. Oh, thanks, Laurie. This time I can show you everything, all the steps at once, because last night it was a bit of a progress thing. So I took my blending brush and I blended my Saffron ink all over the Very Vanilla. And you might be thinking, why wouldn't you just use Saffron cardstock? Because this is actually going to give you a softer color. The Saffron cardstock was too dark for my cheese. So I needed something a little bit lighter. Amber said, you're not even finished yet and I feel like tacos for dinner. I'm wondering if that's going to be on the menu tomorrow night for his birthday, actually. That's his favorite meal. It would go really well because we have the taco birthday card for him. So, or I have the taco birthday card for him. We are actually having the card from the whole family this time. Usually Amber will do her own card and Brooke will often send her own card. But yeah, Amber hasn't had time this time because she's had lots of other things she's been doing. So this time, this one is going to be from all of us. All right, so we are getting a little bit of color on there, which is great. So it's not just vanilla anymore. It's not just Saffron. We are getting some color on there. Now I'm going to show you a piece of Very Vanilla next to this to show you the difference. All right, so that's our card stock that's been colored with the ink. That's Very Vanilla. Can you see the difference there in the colors? See what a difference that made? It just has turned it a little bit more yellow. and that's the color that I wanted for the cheese. Now, what I discovered last night is I actually needed the cheese to be colored on both sides because they're such little pieces that sometimes they were flipping over and then they were the wrong color, and I was constantly trying to flip them over. So I thought if I color the back side this time, then it won't matter which way up they go. Now, obviously, I'm going to be cutting this cardstock into little strips to create the cheese, and I won't do all of that. But anyway, you get the idea. I won't waste time doing all of that. Then what I did is when I had that all cut, I then cut 1/2 centimeter strips, so 5 millimeters strips of cardstock. I just did that on my trimmer, nice and quick, doing it on your trimmer. And I got the cheese. So then what I did is I had longer pieces of cheese, and I decided, oh, they're a bit long and they're going to be hard to put in and fit in. So what I did is I actually tore each of those strips. So they were probably about that length, actually, whatever that is. What is that? That's about 6.5 centimeters. So they were about 6.5 centimeters. So then what I did is I tore each of them in half, because you know cheese often has jagged edges, like jagged ends on it. So I tore each of those ends, but when I tore them, it then revealed that very white, very vanilla. It's not white, but it was too pale. So then I had to go back over all of the ends again with my blending brush. So this process, as you can imagine, took me hours. This whole process last night. So I had to, I missed that one. So then I had to go back over all of the ends again with, so if you were doing it all in a full process, it wouldn't take as long, but because I was designing it as I was going, each of the steps, sort of took a little bit of time. So anyway, so that's you've thought of every detail, Amber said. Yeah, I tried to. I am a details girl. I get told that sometimes, that I'm all about the details, and yeah, I am actually. So it can be a good thing, sometimes not so good. But anyway, so there we go. So there we've got all the cheese. Now I already did stamp a sentiment as well that I'm going to pop on the front. This is wider than the cheese, but I made it in the same color as the cheese so that when it's on the front of the taco, it just looks like it's a piece of cheese sitting on the front of the taco. Okay, and I stamped that already. I've inked that over the top again because this was very vanilla, as you can see on that side. See the difference in the color? So I inked it over the top again to make it the same color as the cheese. So I've already done that bit too. All right, so that is how I created all of the components of my taco. So now it's time to put it all together, and let's hope. Now, have I missed anything? Oh, insert for the card. I'll go through that now because otherwise I'll probably forget later if I don't do it now. You know when you normally make a card, okay, and then you cut an insert. So the insert, when you put that inside your card, you usually take off a few millimeters. So for a standard card front here in Australia, it's 14.85 by 10.5. So for my inserts, I cut 14.45 by 10.1. So I did that last night, okay, when I created the insert. And then what I did, because I knew it was already the right size for a standard size insert, and the card base was originally a full-size card base, I just took off that edge. So what I did is I just took off the top edge of that as well, the same amount as what I had taken off the other one. And I used my grid paper to line up that die. I'll show you. So if this was, I kept the piece to show you today. Whoops. Let me move all that. So if this was the die, so this is from the borders, the basic borders die. I'll show you exactly what I did so you know what I'm talking about. So just use this one. And I used my grid paper. I made sure I had this lined up on my grid paper so that I knew exactly where to line this up on my cardstock. So that was the original piece of cardstock, okay? So I used my grid paper to make sure that I had this lined up on each side exactly the same, so that I made sure that the arc was even, okay? And then I taped it with washi tape and then die cut it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's how I did that. You can imagine I went to bed very, very late or very, very early this morning, depending on your perception of time. As I said to my team the other day, it really depends on your perception of time. All right, so, okay. We are going to be doing a little bit of stamping on this with the actual taco stamp set. In fact, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to do that later, but I am going to stamp the little taco and the sentiment, and we're going to color the taco with some Stampin' blends, but I'm going to do that later. See how we go for time. All right, now this is where it gets fun, because we are now going to put this all together, and I hope what is in my head translates onto paper. So my sample did, however, I hadn't at that point made the full taco. I only had the 2D taco. So let's see. Now what I did with the base is I went around the edges with the So Saffron ink, the same as I did with the taco. And then I did the splattering along the bottom here too, because I thought just in case this doesn't go right to the bottom, or, you know, if it sits up a little bit, or, you know, it doesn't stick. I wasn't sure when I stuck this down how it was going to look. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have it sitting a bit up, you know, have the bottom look the same as the bottom of the taco. In fact, I might even put it up just a little bit from the bottom of the card, so that when the card stands up, because this will actually be adhered down, when the card stands up, it's actually standing up on the card base, not standing up on the taco shell. Does that make sense? So it'll be just up a little bit from the bottom. Yep, I think that would be better. So then it's, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of liquid, multi-purpose liquid glue to adhere this down, and I'm only adhering the back piece. Now we want the glue to go, whoa, we don't want that much glue because we don't want that oozing. We want to go, oh gosh, went a bit close then to the edge.
I didn't get that.
Oh,
could you try again?
No, Siri, I can't try again. I don't know what I just said that sounded like her name, and she thought she'd jump in. She does that sometimes. She jumps in and thinks I'm asking her something, and I'm really not. I forgot to put my do not disturb on, obviously. I might do that in a second. All right, so there we go. Now I've got a bit close to the edge there, so I'll just wipe that off and use my baby wipe. Just clean that off my hands. Okay, so now I'm going to stick this down to the card base, and I'm just, as I said, I'm going to stick it just a little bit up from, oh, I've got a bit of glue on the front there. Oh, that's annoying. Just a little bit up from the bottom of the card. Now it goes almost to the edges, but not quite. Okay, and being that I've got that splatter on the bottom, that's really good, because now it's going to blend in with the taco shell. Okay, so we want to press that down really firmly, and it's just this back part here that is, my fingers are sticky. It's just the back part here that is stuck, because we're going to fill the taco, and then we're going to adhere the front to the filling, and we're probably going to need some dimensionals happening as well. All right, so there we go. So that's on there. Oh, I've got a little bit of sticky on the front. That's okay. I can probably, actually, remove that with my adhesive remover. Is it dry enough yet? Let's see if I can just get that off, because I don't want anything sticking to that. Now this card, because I'm filling this card with our taco fillings, it's going to be a little bit wider than a standard card. So this card is not going to fit in a standard envelope, okay? So I'm just putting that out there. It's either going to go into a card box if I have time to make one, or if Amber has time to make one. We'll see how we go. And if not, it'll go into a gift bag and be given in a gift bag, a small gift bag. All right, there we go. Okay, here comes the fun part. We have all of our components. So we've got our lettuce. Let's put all our components here on the desk. We've got our meat. We need our 4 bits of meat, and we've got our cherry tomatoes, and I had 6 cherry tomatoes on my prototype. I've ended up with an extra bit of lettuce, that's right, because I made that other one today. Okay, there we go. And then we've got our cheese, so I'll put our cheese there. So now we're going to make our taco. Who's hungry? Am I making you all hungry? Let me take a sip of my water because I've been talking for a long time. I actually have a picture of my prototype up in front of me so that I can try and get it layered up exactly how I had it the first time because it looked good. But you know, sometimes when you do something once and then you go to do it again and it doesn't quite work out the same. I'm hoping that it works out the same this time. All right, so we're going to fill our little taco. Okay, I'm not worrying about the back of this part here. I could have splattered that as well to make it. I did ink it, but I didn't splatter it because hopefully it's going to be covered up by the lettuce. All right, that's why I didn't do the splattering there as well. All right, so with our lettuce, we are going to pop our lettuce into our taco. Like so, and we're going to position it so that it covers the background. In fact, I think I like this piece better. Okay, yep. Okay, so that's going to be, now if a little bit of the background of the card shows, then that's okay, because that's just the card base, so that's all right. But that's basically how I want the lettuce to sit, okay? It doesn't need to go all the way to the bottom because we're going to have our minced beef sticking out the bottom there. But that's kind of how I want the lettuce to be. Okay, so now we are going to stick these down. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Now because they are, oh, I didn't put my my do not disturb on. Let me do that. Okay, good. Because this has lots of texture, we might need a lot of glue because I'm not quite sure where it's going to catch. Okay, so let's pop that in. And you notice that I haven't put glue all the way to the top because it's going to hang off the card. I just want to make sure that it mostly covers up the card base. So you can just position that so that it covers that up. Okay. I think that should be all good there. Do the next piece. I hope these stick. I really hope these stick. Okay, and then we'll do this one as well before the other ones stick too tightly, because then if they're not quite positioned right, I can move them. Oh. Okay, let's see now if we close our taco. Move this one over a bit more. And as I said, it doesn't matter if we see a little bit of the card base, but I kind of don't want to see too much of that. So I think that looks pretty good. In fact, that one can probably even go down a little bit lower. Don't want them sitting up too high. All right, so press our lettuce on our taco. There we go. I think that'll be okay. Oh, I think I need to get a baby wipe, a clean one out to keep wiping my fingers. Alrighty, so that's our lettuce in our taco. Oh, make sure my hands are dry. There we go. Okay, so that's cool. That looks cool. Squish that in a little bit more. There you go. Make sure that's all stuck. There we go. Okay, that's good. Yep. All right. Next, we are going to add our our minced beef. Now, this I just want sticking out the bottom, but I want to overlap them so that it looks like it's, yeah, just a little bit of meat sticking out the bottom. They might even be a little bit high. I might need to cut them. Oh, I think that'll be okay. I think that'll be okay. We just need to get them overlapped at the right angle. In fact, what I should have done, which now it's coming to me, but it's too late. I should have done one up one way and one up the other way when I ran them through the embossing folder, so that they would have overlapped less symmetrical. Does that make sense? Yeah, but I just thought of that now, so, but that's okay. That's all right, we'll work with what we've got. All right, so I like them kind of like that. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on this one. And lay that on to this one. And then before they stick too tightly, I'll put them into the taco to make sure that I've got them lined up where I want them. So I don't want them looking too sort of same, like symmetrical. That's better. Yes, that's it. That's it. Okay, good. All right, so that's one. Now the ones on the other side, of course, are going to look a bit different because we've got a bit more fuller detail over this side and smaller detail on this side. So they're going to look a bit different over this side, but that's okay. Yep, like that. All right, so I'll put a little bit of glue on the back of this one. I hope my son appreciates his card. All this effort I'm going to. He better. Ask me next week. When I come on next week, ask me. Remember to ask me, because I'll probably forget to mention it by then. It'll be a whole nother week away. All right, let's get this lined up. And we'll have some, okay, let's overlap them a little bit more like this. So this is the good thing about the liquid glue, is that you've got time to move things around on your project. Oops, lettuce is getting caught in my mince. There we go. Yep, that'll be good. Okay, and I'm not gluing these all the way because I might slip some cheese in there later. Let's see. Just having a look at my image that I had up there. Oh, I had these ones quite different actually. Let's have a look. How did I have that one? I had this one sitting up a fair bit different, a fair bit higher. Is that better? That might be better. There we go. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to add the mince. Now I'm just thinking if I think I'm going to put that mince up onto some dimensionals to give it a bit more dimension. And oh, thanks Brenton, you're loving how it's all coming together. Yeah, it's a bit of a progress. Progress, is that the word? Process, that's the word I'm thinking of. Process, it is a bit of a process, but yeah, super fun. In fact, what I could have done is I could have put dimensionals in between the two lots of mince. That would have been better. I should have done that. Well, I guess I still could. Can I get them apart? No, they're probably stuck now. That's okay. That's all right. I should have thought of that a little bit earlier. But that's all right. It's a work in progress. We'll give our mince a little bit of dimension this way. All right, let's see how we want to have this, like that, I think. There we go, good. Yep, so we're getting a bit of dimension. We need some dimension and we've got the texture happening, so we need some dimension in our project. Now this is one project I'm creating that will actually not have ribbon and bling, because tacos don't have ribbon and bling. So shock horror, this one is not going to have ribbon and bling, everybody. It's a Mandy project without ribbon and bling. Whoever would have thought? All right, these two are a little bit too, they're probably too stuck now. Oh no, oh yes, they are. That's okay. That's all right. They can stay as they are. As you were. Okay, that'll do. I'm doing it. There we go. All right, awesome. Now we've got, just want to lift that. In fact, you know what? I probably should have even put the lettuce on Stampin' Dimensionals, to be honest. Might slip some dimensionals in under some of these parts here to give them a little bit more lift, to make them sit up a bit. Might use some minis under that one. This one I can use a larger one. Yeah, because I want to give it a little bit more lift there, a little bit more dimension. There we go. I'll get my minis out. Pop a mini under there. And I can fit a large one under there. There we go. And I'll put another large one under. Oh, got two. Don't need two. Just one, thank you. Under there. So I'm just popping them in under there, under the lettuce, to make that lettuce sit up a little bit more off the base. And then just where they're overlapping, add a little bit of a few dimensionals in there, here and there, so that they can just have a bit more dimension. They're not sitting completely flat. Because the taco shell itself, oops, I'm going to be putting some dimensionals under that too when I adhere that down. Oops, oh, that one's not in the right spot. Let's put that under there. Let's try that one again. Okay, so has anybody made any 3D projects like this before? Let me know in the comments if you have embarked on a major project like this before. Oh, hi Sam, how are you going? Oh, you shared to your groups. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I was actually going to ring you this afternoon, Sam. I was going to ring you and chat to you about my class. But I'll see how I go this afternoon if I get a chance to. If not today, I'll ring you tomorrow probably. And yeah. It was really excited to see that you'd signed up for my class. Thank you so much. Oops, that one's too close to the edge. Oh, there's a song about that, but I won't sing it because Facebook won't like that if I do. They don't like when we use music and songs and things. If we sing or if we play music in the background, we get into trouble. So I can't do that. So I'm not going to sing the song. But you all probably know the one that I'm talking about things close to the edge. I think that's in a better spot there. There we go. Awesome. Tomorrow will be fine. Okay, no worries, Sam. I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, good. All right, there we go. All right, and where that little glue dot is in there, because I don't want that to show, I can just bend that bit of lettuce over a little bit. There we go. Good. Okay. All right. On to the tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes. So we've got 6 cherry tomatoes here. And I think with the cherry tomatoes, I'm also going to pop them up onto some dimensionals. Or do I want to? Yeah, I'm going to put them onto some dimensionals. So I'll get those on now. And I think I'm going to use the large ones. Are they going to fit? Might use a couple of smaller ones actually, just to hide them a little bit better. Use a couple of small ones on the backs there. There we go. Oops. So are there any comments? Has anybody embarked? Oh, Amber's saying you've raised the bar for my cards later this year, considering you didn't make one for me last year. Oh, that's right. I ran out of time last year, didn't I? I never got around to making yours. I'll have to start earlier, I think. Earlier in the year to, yeah, oh, now I'll have to, won't I? Now that I've made one for him, I'll have to make one for you. Like brother, like sister. There we go. All right, all our little cherry tomatoes. As I was saying earlier, I didn't have the dies to make large tomato slices, so I had to make cherry tomatoes. All right, so we are going to, oh, I should position them first before I stick them. Last night when I was working this card out, oh, these cherry tomatoes, they were doing my head in. They kept on sliding everywhere, and every time I tried to add more cheese to my taco, the cherry tomato would slide, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys, work with me. There we go. And yeah, they were slippery little things, these little tomatoes. So we're just going to tuck them in there to the edge of our taco shell. I might start on the other side too. So we've got them even. They don't have to be even. You can even have them sticking out a little bit, like have the edges of them sticking out a little bit if you wanted to. I kind of wanted mine a little bit more uniform, I guess. And some people on their tacos, they actually have diced tomato. Sometimes I do dice a tomato on our tacos too. It just depends. Depends what mood I'm in as to whether or not I can be bothered dicing them up or not. But today we have slices on our taco. There we go. Okay, so there's all our, so this is what the inside of our taco is looking like. So it's looking pretty messy, and the reason I didn't do the meat all the way around is because usually when you do tacos, or at least when we do, the meat is at the bottom. So you usually just have the meat oozing out the ends at the bottom, not all the way around. All right, so now we have the cheese. You know what? Those tomatoes could have even gone up on 2 dimensionals to make that extra high. Let's see. No, I think that'll be okay once I put down, oh, that one's a little bit low. I wonder if I can put that one up on 2 dimensionals. Make it 2-dimensional, no, 3-dimensional. 4-dimensional? No, 4-dimensional includes smell, doesn't it? Got a little bit of green fuzz on there from the lettuce leaves, but that's all good. All right, let's put that one down there. And did you notice the reason that I didn't already stick the front down is because I keep on needing to open it to position all these extra little elements, and also to yes, I wouldn't have been able to get all the bits in if I had have stuck that down too early. So that's why I didn't stick it down beforehand. All right, this one needs an extra one under there, under that side. Make that sit up a little bit higher. So some of these pieces need an additional layer of, oops, dimensional. Oh, goodness. Not having much luck with these dimensionals today, am I? They keep sticking to me. The backing actually stuck onto the back of that one. There it is. And I wanted the dimensional to stick on there. There we go. There, that's better. Okay, that's better. And let's see. So when I hold that up, I don't want to be able to see the edges of those little tomato wedges. This one needs to be moved because that one's too close. It's too close to the edge again. I'll just position that down a little bit. Let's give it a little bit of a twist. See, that's better. Okay, so there's, we've got our tomatoes. All right, now we need our cheese. So we've got all of our cheese here. Let's tip out all of our cheese. You all saw how I created the cheese. And if you didn't, you'll have to go back and watch the video, the earlier parts of the video where I created the cheese. Okay, it is coming together, isn't it, Laurie? It's, yeah, it's lots of fun. I'm actually going to put my glasses on now too, because I'm finding my vision is starting to get a little bit blurry. I'm straining my eyes. Hi, Kay, how you going? Great to have you here. Oh, lovely card, yummy, yummy, says Kay. Yeah. And Angela's saying she loves the card too. Thank you. This is a very special project for my son. It's his birthday tomorrow. And I can tell you that freely on here because he doesn't have Facebook, so he can't watch. I've got a little bit of sticky here on the back of this lettuce leaf, I just noticed, but I'm going to deal with that later, and I'll show you how I can get rid of that sticky. So I added a little bit too much glue there, but that's all right. Oh, actually, you know what? I might do it now because I can see that it is sticking to my my grid paper, and I don't want all of my glue, my cheese to get all gluey and yuck. So I've got this adhesive eraser. Stampin' Up used to sell them, but they don't sell them at the moment, but you can get them from craft stores. So they just lift off any adhesive. Now I might have too much adhesive and it's a bit textured for using on my lettuce leaf here. So what I'm going to do is show you another use for your embossing buddy. So your embossing buddy has powder in it because it's an anti-static pillow, and it has this powder, and another way you can use it is to de-stickify things. So I'm just going to tap it onto that adhesive to remove that sticky, and I have used this trick so many times when I've got adhesive in places I don't want it. I just put the powder on there. It takes off the sticky. And let's just rub it there on my desktop as well to take off the sticky. Just blow off the powder, and there we have no more sticky. So there we go. Oh, got a little bit of something, something there too. That's all right. Okay, there we go. So we are now de-stickified. Oh, no worries, Sam. All good. I'll see you later. All right, so pop that back in there. Okie dokie. All right, now to stick in the cheese. Oh, we've got our sentiment label in there too. So we'll leave that out separate to our cheese. So you all saw me create the cheese earlier. Okay, so now we've got to put the cheese in there, and we need to use our multi-purpose liquid glue for this. We need lots and lots of cheese. So this is going to be lots of sticking. Lots of sticking and repositioning. All right, we just want little bits of glue, and we can just start sticking our cheese in here and there. Created the cheese with very vanilla cardstock, so saffron ink with a blending brush, and then we trimmed them on the paper trimmer. Oh, and tore them as well, tore the little strips. So you're going to have little bits of cheese going everywhere on our taco because, of course, you know, let's pretend we have sprinkled the cheese on there. And so this is probably going to take the longest of all of the steps because there's so much cheese everywhere. So when we look at the inside of the card, it's going to look like a hot mess. But you're not going to see that because it's going to be the inside of the taco. I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals there to hold up the taco so that we still have that lovely taco shape. And yeah, so what other ideas? So this is the idea that I've presented to you today is another way of using your dies for something very, very different. And I would love to know how else you have used your dies in different ways. So let me know in the comments if you have used your Stampin' Up! Dies or your Stampin' Up! Products in different ways to create different things, other than what they're intended for, of course. Oh, we might have a piece coming across here, have some laying across there. Yep. We kind of want our cheese going everywhere because that's what happens when we put our cheese on our taco. And also too, let me know if you did some crafting over the weekend. What did you create? What have you been creating over the weekend? As I was saying to everybody at the beginning, if you've jumped on a little bit later, you might have missed me saying, but I had our team gathering on Saturday, and I gave my team a mystery stamping challenge, and they did such a great job with it. They created such beautiful cards, and they were all so different because some of the instructions were a little bit abstract for them to make their own interpretation. And yeah, and it was really fun to see what they came up with. So our taco is coming together. New word, de-stickify. Yes. I use that one a lot, Rose, because I'm always de-stickifying things. De-stickify. And there's a few different ways to de-stickify things, as you saw today. So yeah. Brenton says, I crafted all weekend, created wedding cards. Oh, for some weddings coming up in March. Wow. That sounds awesome. Very nice. I bet they are beautiful. Which products were you using, Brenton? Were you using some of the Stampin' Up! Stamp sets? What about everybody else? What? Let me see. Am I missing any comments here? I'm just scrolling up. Oops. Oh, I just saw your comment. I'm just scrolling back up. Brenton, I saw your comment. Try double stacking your dimensionals for extra height. Yes, I did do that. Thank you. Before I saw your comment. Sorry, I do miss a lot of comments when I've got my head down creating. But yes, that was a very good suggestion, and it's nice to know that some of your creative minds are in line with mine. They're coming up with the same sort of ideas, which is awesome. Okay, cheese. Who likes cheese? I love cheese. Do you know what? When I was creating this last night, well, early hours of this morning, and I had the cheese packet sitting on my desk because I was trying to get the right color and shape, and I couldn't get the shape because the cheese is all different shapes, but trying to get the right width for the cheese and things like that. And the cheese was just sitting there staring at me. And so, of course, I had to have a couple of handfuls of cheese, didn't I, at some unearthly hour in the morning, because it's cheese and it was just there and I had to eat it. And it was yummy. I love cheese. Oh, thanks, Alison. How are you? I just saw that you had jumped on. How are you, lovely? So good to have you here. Angela said she created some cards using the perfectly detailed stamp. Ah, very nice. Very nice. We might have some cheese on top of some of these tomatoes as well. The cheese just takes the longest to glue, so I'm so sorry, everybody. It does take a while to do the cheese because there's, you know, got to have lots of cheese on your taco. So let's go. Let's have another piece going this way. There we go. Have bits of cheese going everywhere because I love cheese. Oh, you're good. That's good, Alison. Glad to hear it. You love cheese too, Alison. Yeah, me too. Had some really nice cheese with some friends a couple of weeks ago. We had high tea at one of our friends' homes. Some of the ladies and I from my Bible study group, and we had some really yummy cheese. We had some brie, of course, which, you know, who doesn't love a bit of brie? And we had some, I think it was Mercy Valley or something. It was like a really, what do you call it? Like a strong cheese. Oh, gee, it was yummy. I thought, oh, I'll have to get some of that. And then I thought, oh, maybe not. That'll be dangerous. If I do, I'll probably eat way too much of it. Come on, little piece. Where are you going? You're going in there. There we go. There we go, little cheese. You're going in there. Okay, good. The cheese is looking pretty good on this side. All right, we might start working over the other side. We can always go back in and fill in with more cheese if we need to. But, you know, got to have lots of cheese on your, whoops. Got to have lots of cheese on your taco. Actually, let's see if that one will go down there. Yep. That tomato's not stuck down very well. What's going on with that one? Oh, did I not take the backing off that one? Did I do? I might put a little bit of glue under that one. Oops, it's a bit loose. This one, it's going to come off. Let's just get that in the right spot. There, let's glue you down, little tomato. You stay there. You stay put, please. Thank you. There we go. All right, we've got to fill in over here a little bit with some cheese. Yes, so I love cheese. My favorite cheese is Camembert, of course. And I used to eat, which is very naughty, but very yummy. Well, I guess any of the cheeses can be naughty. Fruit cheese. Do you love fruit cheese? Oh, Brenton said Mercy Valley cheeses are amazing. Yes. I don't think I'd had much of Mercy Valley cheeses before the other weekend, Brenton. So when I ate it, I was like, oh, yum. This is so good. Need to get some of that. But yeah, fruit cheeses. So I like sweet cheeses as well. Does anyone like sweet cheeses? Fruit cheese, apricot cheese. I love the nut crumbing around the edges. Just, oh, yum. I think this is dangerous, creating this card. It's making me hungry. It's probably making everybody else hungry too. Oh, Angela says she loves Mercy Valley too. Crumbly and delicious. Yes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Are you all having a cup of tea and a snack? I'm going to have mine when I finish because I thought there's no way I can have a cup of tea while I'm making this card. And also too, I thought I'm going to get hot making this. I just know I am. And because I thought, you know, I'm going to be, I might get a tad flustered making this one today. Got to get it right. So I've just got cold water and I put some ice. Oh, I'll tell you something funny. I put some ice in my water bottle just before coming on live today. And our little Callie, our little puppy, since it hailed last time, we have discovered that she likes ice. So we had a hailstorm, it was a couple of months ago now, I think. Can't remember exactly when it was. We had this huge, great big hailstorm, and she had never seen hail before. But the back lawn was absolutely covered in hailstones, so ice. We took her out there when it had finished to see what she would do, just for a little bit of enrichment and to see, you know, what she thought about ice and, you know, something that looked like snow. And, oh, she loved it. She thought it was just the best thing. She was so excited. But ever since then, we discovered that she likes ice. And we don't give her ice cubes and things like that because, you know, we don't want her to choke and stuff. But because I was putting ice in my drink bottle and I had the fridge open, she could smell it. And so Amber was holding her at the time because she was getting ready to take her upstairs. and she was trying to get out of Amber's arms to get to the freezer where I had the door open, where the ice was in our ice keeper in our freezer. And so I put a little piece of ice in my hand, and oh my goodness, she loved it. She was like, lick, 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 lick. She just loved this ice. And so I thought, okay, well, if ever she is hot, or if ever she is upset about something, because she's very reactive to noises and things, I could distract her with ice. That would probably work. Let's put that piece over the top of that tomato. How about that? Yeah, so she really, really loved it. And so she just licked it. I didn't let her take it from my hand because I didn't want her to choke on it. So I was very careful to sort of hold, I sort of was holding my thumb on the edge of it so that she couldn't grab it from me. And yeah, but she loved it. So that was funny. But it was just right before I was about to go live. I'm like, hurry up, Callie, quick. I've got to film. Mummy's got to work. We always tell her, Mummy's got to work. And so she knows when Mummy's got to work that she needs to go upstairs with Amber, because otherwise if we leave her down here and she hears noises, she starts barking and she's too noisy. So she goes upstairs. Let me just plow. Did I just read something that said plow? Oh, ploughmans. Oh, Brenton said ploughmans and pickled onions are my favorite in Mercy Valley. Oh, yum. Oh, I used to love pickled onions. I used to eat them a lot actually growing up. We always had them in the house growing up. Always had pickled onions. My brother used to love them too. He was always eating them. Oh, Amber said she doesn't think she could do the cheese messy enough on the card. Yeah, well, I'm trying. I just realized I was getting a little bit neat over this side. So I had to start overlaying it. Overlapping? Well, both. Overlapping and overlaying a little bit to make it a little bit more messy. So, oh, I'm getting some love hearts going up. Thank you so much, whoever is sending up all those love hearts. That's awesome. Let's see, what else? Oh, Brenton said for the wedding cards, he's using the Dainty Delight bundle, Forever Fern, and a couple of retired products. You haven't posted them on Instagram. Oh, okay, yep. Maybe when you're finished. Are you planning on posting them on Instagram when you're finished, Brenton? I'd love to see them. I always see your cards, well, mostly I see your cards when they go up on Instagram. So that would be awesome. Oh, Dimity said, you've outdone yourself today. We'll be expecting so much more now. Oh, dear. Oh, well, thank you very much, Dimity, for the compliment. But in terms of the expecting more bit, yeah, see how we go. This is a special card for my son, so, you know, I'm going all out for this one. I hope he appreciates it. He's gone away for a couple of days, actually. He likes to always do something special on his birthday, so he's gone away for a couple of days. So I've had plenty of time to sort of, you know, fiddle with this because he wasn't around, which was good. Not good that he's not around, but good that he wasn't here to come into the craft room when I was trying to create, although I was doing it early hours of the morning, so he probably wouldn't have come in at that time anyway. He'd probably be in bed asleep himself by then. But yes, did have a late one last night, very, very late, and I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'll have to try and get to bed a bit earlier today. Haha, she says. Every time I say that, I always end up getting to bed really, really late. I should just not say it. I'll just get to bed when I get to bed, hey? Let's just say that. Who else is a late night owl? Anybody else out there late night owls like me? I know a couple of my team members are, and a couple of my team members are on here right now. I know who the late night owls are in my team. I get messages from you guys late at night. I know when you're up. Oh, I put a little bit more glue there on that one. I don't always answer the questions. I don't always answer the messages late at night though, because I'm usually trying to cram getting work done at the last minute before I go to bed. So I usually, if they're really late night comments or messages, I answer them in the next morning. On the next morning, I should say. Not in the next morning. In the morning. That's what I was going to say. So I think too, also having the torn edges on this cheese, just adding a little bit about my cheese, I think it also adds to the texture, but also it does make it look a little bit more messy. So, which is good because that's what you want with the cheese. You don't want it looking too sort of neat and tidy, because, you know, when you sprinkle cheese on your tacos, it goes everywhere, including on the floor. We've got to be careful when it goes on the floor because we don't want Callie getting the taste for cheese. Our last doggy, Molly, she had the taste for cheese, and that was her special treat. And she loved her cheese, but it's not really very healthy for them to have a lot of cheese, so we limited it. But we don't want Callie to get the taste for cheese. She gets lots of other dog appropriate and dog friendly treats. She doesn't need cheese as well, and she's got a really sensitive tummy too, so I'm not really sure that cheese will go so well in her belly. She'd probably get an upset tummy from it, knowing her. She's a sensitive little butterfly, a little puppy dog. She's not really a butterfly, but you know what I mean. There, so the cheese is going well. We are getting the cheese in there. Okay, I think we are nearly done with the cheese. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we've got enough cheese in there? I'm just having a look at my prototype, because I did take a photo when I was creating this last night. I did take a photo of my prototype, and I'm just having a look to see. Oh yeah, I've put a few pieces in behind the mincemeat too. So I'm just having a look to see how I had it in my prototype. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same because the cheese is just sort of everywhere. But, oh, come on, are you going to go in there? Go in. No, I've hit a dimensional, I think. All right, let's make that one a bit shorter. Now I'll get gluey because that one already had glue on it. Add a little bit more glue. There we go. And I'll pop that down in there behind some of that mincemeat. Oh, this one wants to be stuck. Look, he's jumping out. All right, we'll put a bit of glue on you. You can be next. You can be next, little Mr. Cheese. All right, we're nearly done. Oh, you like blue cheese, Rose? Oh, wow. You know what? I have tried, or yes, I think I did try blue cheese once, but to be honest, I can't stand the smell of it. But I did taste it once and it wasn't my thing. Didn't really like it. And but I've actually heard very few people that like it, so that's really interesting that you like it. Oh, there you go. There are people out there that like blue cheese. Dimity says, Mercy Valley is yum, also loves fruit cheese and apricot and almond cheese. Yes, I love that one. Me too, Dimity. You and I could party, couldn't we, with our cheeses? Oh my goodness. All right, I actually think we've got enough cheese now. What do you reckon? I think that's looking pretty good. Well, this bit here is a little bit, what's going on with this bit? That bit's a little bit, let me just fix this one. Just was not quite right. Didn't look quite right to me. It was a little bit long, not kind of tucked in far enough behind that cherry tomato. So let's do this one again. There we go, that's better. This wasn't quite sitting right. Oh, we need some here. We need some. See, this is what happened when you start doing this, and you just kind of create as you go and alter as you need to, kind of thing. There we go, needed some cheese in there. Stick that all down. Well, I hope that's all stuck really well. I'm going to put a little bit of glue under this one because that's overlapping the tomato. It's a little bit loose. There we go. But we've got lots and lots of dimension on there. I think that's looking not too bad. What do you think? I think we've got heaps of cheese on there. What do you reckon? I don't think we need any more cheese. Do you think it's messy enough? I think so. I think we're all good. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I have pre-made this. Okay, look, I've got a few extra pieces of cheese left over. There we go. I'm might decide later if I need to add any more, I can slip them in. I can tuck them in behind there. So we've got lots of great texture going on in our taco. Lots of dimension, so that's really awesome. We're going to create a little bit more dimension here with the front because we're going to adhere that down with some dimensionals. Thanks, Brenton. Brenton says it looks amazing. Thank you. Alison says I'm making her hungry and she hopes that there's some special cheese left in the fridge when she gets home. Kay said, I have a problem with my Gmail, so can't sign to request the catalogs. Kay, I already got your request for your catalogs. I did get it did work. The request that you sent through the registration form that you completed for your catalogs, it did come through to me. So, yeah, so it's all good. They're already coming to you. In fact, I think I already sent them. Let me check. I think, were they the ones I sent on Friday? I did send catalogs on Friday. I'll write myself a note. Check catalogs for Kay, but I think I already sent them. I'll get back to you on that one, Kay. I'll check after I finish filming today and I'll send you a message, okay? So thank you for asking again. All right, so for my sentiment, I did use the Taco Fiesta stamp set, which was my inspiration for my taco card. So I used Spectacular. Spectacular. That's how you say it. Spectacular. Spectacular. I don't know. Anyway, that one. I used that one. Stamped it using early espresso onto Very Vanilla, which I had... I'd put some Saffron ink with my blending brush onto the Very Vanilla cardstock so that it was the same color as my cheese. It's a bit wider than my cheese, so I stamped the sentiment first and then cut around it with my trimmer to get the right width, but it ended up a bit wider than my cheese. But I wanted it to look sort of like cheese. So I'm going to adhere that, but I'm going to adhere the front of the card first and then work out where I want to put that and then decide if I'm going to have it flat or raised up. I'll probably have it raised up on dimensionals, I think, so that it looks like, actually I might even might not put it down the bottom. I might put it over here somewhere up the top. So it looks like a bit of cheese that's spilled out. Maybe up there. And I'm putting a birthday message on the inside. So inside I'm going to put Holy Guacamole, it's your birthday, and I'm going to stamp the little taco on the inside and colour that with Stampin' Blends. So, all right, now we've got all of the texture is on the outside. So the inside is, there's nothing there. So is that stuck? That's not stuck. Was that meant to be stuck? Was that bit of cheese meant to be stuck? Hang on a minute. Did I have that bit in there? Oh, it is sticky. That didn't stick properly. Let me re-stick this bit of cheese. Hang on. We lost a bit of cheese out of our taco. I always lose pieces of cheese out of my taco. Oh, where was that piece? Was that in there? Was that there like that? Somewhere like that, wasn't it? Anyway, that's where it's going back in. There like that. Okay, you stay there. Oh, you know what? I'll put a bit more glue under where it's touching on the tomato, the cherry tomato. There we go. And then that should adhere there then, hopefully. Stick. Okay, so we've got nothing here. So we need to support this part of the taco shell so that we've got that nice curved, we can maintain that nice curve. We need to put some Stampin' Dimensionals under there, and I'm thinking we're going to need 2 layers because I think it's going to need to be quite high. So I'm going to put, in fact, I'm going to put some up here and here, and I'm just going to feel that. Yeah, that's not going to be anywhere near high enough. So I'm going to do 2 layers of dimensionals, or as Brenton said before, I'm going to stack them. We might even need 3, we'll see. So I'm going to do those bits first and just see how that, yeah, see, I want that a bit more curved. So I'm even going to stack that 3 high. As I said, this card is not going to go into an envelope. This is going to go either into a gift bag or a gift box. Just depends if we have time to make a gift box or not. Okay, that's still not as high as I wanted it, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I might even go, you know what? I might even stack them 4 high. Who's ever gone 4 high with their dimensionals? Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever gone 4 high before. Let's see. Oh, that's better. Stack of 4 high of dimensionals. I will put others around it as well, but I just wanted to check. But I just took the backings off before I properly checked, didn't I? I didn't mean to do that. See, I'm talking, not paying attention. Let me get some backings. I'll add them back on again. I don't want it to stick just yet. You go back on there for a minute. Just go back on there for a minute. Yes, that'll be perfect. Good. All right, so I want it to curve there, and then I want it to go back down there. Okay, so I've got 4 stacks of dimensionals there. I'm going to put some more on the sides here. So we're doing a 4 stack either side of that as well. Take those backings off in between your stacks, because otherwise they won't stick. Has anyone else gone 4 high before? Oh, this is a first for me. Oh, they are on your Instagram, Brenton. I just saw your comment. Oh, okay, good. I'll have to go and have a look. So how many we got there now? Is that 3 or was that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 4. Whoops, I need to leave that top backing on. There we go. And oh, Angela is a late night owl. Yep, and Brenton is also a night owl. Oh, there you go. Yes, I think there's quite a few crafters that are late night owls. I do also know some that are early to bed people too, because they like to get up early. But that's not really me. I like crafting at night time because it's quieter and everyone's gone to bed and I don't have any disturbances. Oh, Kay said blue cheese with quince jam is beautiful. Oh, yum. I love quince jam. I also love quince paste. Have you had quince paste? It's a little bit different to quince jam, but it's also yummy. I'm going to need some more dimensionals. Let's grab out... Oh, sorry, I've got to reach over to get them. And grab some more dimensionals. Did you know? I think most of you that watch me know about Stampin' Dimensionals, but in the pack of Stampin' Dimensionals, you get 3 sheets. And depending on how often you're crafting, they do last a fair long time. Depending on how much you use them. As you can see, I'm using a lot today, so this pack is not going to last me quite so long. All right, so there we've got our 4 layers there, and we're going to need... Now, the thing is, I don't want it up too high because it's got to cover the tomatoes. It's got to cover the tomatoes. So what I'm thinking is, will I do a layer or will I actually stick it flat on the tomatoes? There. So let's just see if I had it up, because if I have it up off the tomatoes, I don't want to be able to see the edges of those tomatoes and all the mess that's on the inside, but I think we'll get away with it. Let's see. Let's see if I just put one there, and then that adheres. Well, that's actually going to adhere down below there. So I think that'll be okay. All right. So I'm going to put some dimensionals around the edges here. I will cut all these edge pieces and use them on another project, so I never waste those edge pieces. But just for this one, I'm using just the standard dimensionals. So let's see now, if I put that down, how's that going to look? Oh, okay, I might actually need 2 high on some of those because they're sitting down a little bit lower in between where I've got those elements there of my card. So I'm going to add a second layer on top of these. See, this part I hadn't completely worked out when I had designed this card because I hadn't made it completely yet. So this part of it I am winging right now with you all and working it out as I go. The actual design of the taco itself, I did have that in my mind. All right, let's see now if I close that up. Yes, that will work. Okay, beautiful. Good. All right, so we've got our 4 stack in the middle. That'll hold it up and give it that nice curve, which we created the curve using the bone folder and the edge of the desk. And then the edges have just got 2 layers. So now I'll take all of these off. These stacks are a little bit wibbly wobbly, but once the card is stuck down, I think that's going to just hold everything together. There we go. All right. So here we go, moment of truth. Oh my goodness, I hope this works. I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, good. There we go. Here's our taco. How cool is that? In fact, I could have even had a little bit more dimension just under here, but that's okay. That's pretty cool. All right, let's squeeze down those edge ones. So we want those to hold down. There's our taco. There's our taco, everybody. How cool. Oh, I love it. Do you love it? It's so cute. Hey, Jenny. Oh, my goodness, you just missed an epic card. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay. I've just made this amazing taco. And thank you, Amber. And it's actually a card. Look at that. Whoop. All right. So now, we've lost a little bit of the roundness of the taco. It's a little bit of a flatter taco than what I had intended, but that's okay because these other layers weren't up as high as what they probably should have been to have the height I wanted in the taco shell. But we still do have that nice curve there, which is great, which is what I wanted, just not as high as what I wanted. But that's okay. I'm still pretty happy with that. Awesome. And I'm so glad that I put it up a little bit from the bottom edge. So now it will sit up nicely on my son's bookcase. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So we've just got to do now the inside and the add the sentiment label for the front. So I already created the insert as I showed at the beginning, and I showed how I created that back at the beginning, and I've inked the edges, etc., etc. So we're going to do some stamping on this, and then we're also going to work out where we're going to put this sentiment. So for the inside, for the insert, I'm going to be using the Holy Guacamole It's Your Birthday and the taco stamp from the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Okay, so I've got them here ready to go. And I already stamped this one earlier. So I just got to work out now where I want this. I don't know if I want it right in the middle like a piece of cheese. I could have had it coming out like a piece of cheese too, couldn't I? But then it might not stand out. Originally I was going to put it down the bottom, but it's not going to work down there now. I don't know. I don't know where to put this. I think I need to have it up on dimensionals as well. Do I put it right in the middle? Or I put it to the side? Amber, what do you think? Need your expert advice. Are you still watching? Oh, good enough to eat, Rose said. Laurie says, love it. Fabulous job. Brenton said, looks amazing. Thank you, everyone. Angela says, wow, great card. Oh, Brenton said he's only ever stacked dimensionals too high, two layers high. Yeah, me too. Me too. Oh, Dimity says Phil loves blue cheese and quince. Ooh, yummy. There we go. Looks so good. Amazing. Lower right. Okay, so that's where I had originally planned it. So I might put it just there, just on where it's curving over there. You probably can't even tell the curve that's actually on it. It does have a pretty good curve on it, just there, which is good. It's like a flat taco shell. You know when the taco shells, you put them in the oven and they fall over and they go flat? It's kind of like that. So yeah, all right. So I'll pop it there. I'll put it onto some dimensionals so it looks like it's another piece of cheese that's just fallen out of the taco. It's a bigger piece of cheese, this one. funny thing is, my son loves cheese, but he's lactose intolerant, as are all my children and myself. So he does, I can actually get away with it, mostly. If I'm careful, I don't overdo it. But the others all have to be a bit careful with their dairy intake. And so we do now have lactose-free cheese in the house. And so that's what they often, oh yeah, I like that there. Good, okay. That's a bit higher than where I was going to put it, but because I've now got that big curve on the card, that works perfectly just there. Yeah, look at that. How cool. Alrighty, let's create the inside. Oh, yum. I want to eat that. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, so I'm going to stamp with, thank you so much for all the love hearts going up. Thank you, everyone. Lactose cheese is yum. It is, isn't it? You actually can't tell the difference. Well, it might depend on the brand, though. Amber said, this is perfect lactose-free cheese. Lactose-free cheese. Yes, this is lactose-free cheese. This will not upset anyone's tummy. Oh, Brenton, you said with the sentiment mid right-hand side. Okay, good, because that's kind of where I ended up putting it, about there. So it doesn't look flat. Oh, good, because it's not. It's actually got quite a lot of dimension to it. I'm just so happy with how that lettuce turned out. That was just like, that was just a really great discovery. Like, yeah, when we just start creating, sorry, I'm chatting, I should be stamping. When we just start playing around and, oh, squeaky. That one's a squeaky one. Sorry, everyone. You start playing around and just doing lots of experiments with products, you discover all these really cool things. Ah, now I got ink on the inside of that because I pressed too hard. I'm busy chatting away here. Yeah, so you just discover all these really cool things when you start experimenting with things. So play with your products and see what you can do with them, because it might not necessarily be, you know, what it was intended for, like mine today. Like, I've really thought out of the box with this project, and quite happy with how it's turning out, or has turned out. All right, let's do that again, and this time I won't press so hard. That's better. I'll just test that. Good, okay. I was getting a bit carried away and I pressed a little bit too hard, so I'm going to pop a little taco down here. So cute. I absolutely love this stamp set. Did you all see my card I made the other week using this stamp set, using the Taco Fiesta? It was really cute, but this one's just a bit different. This one's next level, but the other one I made the other week using the Taco Fiesta stamp set was pretty cute too. All right, and we are going to stamp Holy Guacamole, It's Your Birthday, and I'm using my grid paper to line this up. I think I'll... Oh, did I get ink on there again? My goodness, I'm getting carried away with my ink today. I think I'm going to pop it up here so that I've got room to write, because I always like to write fairly long messages to my kids when I give them cards. There we go. Holy guacamole. So I can just write dear Jake up there, and then I've got room to write a message, so that's good. Okay, so I'll clean these stamps off, and then we're going to colour in this little taco. I could leave it just as it is, but I think it would be a bit boring, so we're going to give that one a little bit of colour, and then we'll put our insert in and we will be all done. All right, so for Stampin' Blends, I have got the same colors I used on my Taco Fiesta card the other week. I've got Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and Real Red. So we are going to color, hopefully that ink has dried enough. Usually I leave it a little while to let that ink dry before I color with my Stampin' Blend so that it doesn't smudge. Hopefully I've left it long enough. So fingers crossed, cross your fingers and toes, everybody. Hopefully it's had enough time to dry. All right, so add a little bit of dark Daffodil Delight down on the corner, and then we're going to come in with our light. And oh, this one's getting a bit shaggy. I'll have to replace this one soon. Actually, did I order? I don't think I ordered this color. I ordered Balmy Blue in my last order, but I think I need to replace this one. This is my light Daffodil Delight, but it's getting a little bit shaggy. I might do the edges with my bullet tip, I think. Just go back in around the edges with my bullet tip. Just didn't want to take that brush tip too close to the edges. I didn't want to go out of the lines. There we go. I'll just blend that down a little bit, that deeper color. Blend that in a little bit. There we go. All right, so that's our little taco. It's a little bit different in color to the one we just created. And then we've got our lettuce and our tomatoes. So I'm going to use a bullet tip this time for the lettuce. Oh, now let me see. That's the dark. Did I use the light or the dark last time? I can't remember now. I think I'm going to go light because we've got very light green lettuce in our taco today that we've created. So that granny apple green. I love granny apple green. It's such a pretty green. It's really beautiful. And just adding that extra granny apple green ink on top of it today with the distressing, it deepens the color of the cardstock, doesn't it? And it's because before it was very, very, very bright green, but you can deepen the color. We'll use light real red for the tomatoes. And just using the bullet tip, a very light touch for these tomatoes because it's only a very tiny section to color in. Oop. There we go. All right, I'll pop those out of the way and I'll bring in my real taco shell in a minute and we'll compare. Now, have to be careful opening this one because of all the dimensions. So I'm going to open it all the way, like lift it up to open it all the way up because you can't just turn it to open it because those pieces, they come out the side of the card, okay? I've got a little bit of glue on there before, I think, when I had it on the desktop, but that's okay. All right, and then we're just going to pop that in there like so. I like to use a dry adhesive for my inserts because I feel that sometimes the glue can be a bit bumpy coming through. Maybe I'm just a little bit heavy-handed. Although, if you use the spreader tip of your multi-purpose liquid glue, that is another way. Actually, why don't we do that? That's another way to smooth it out. Whoops, there we go. So you just squeeze a bit of glue and then just smooth that with the spreader. Did you all know that this glue has a spreader? That's what that thick end is. It's a glue spreader. There we go. And then that will be a lot smoother and you won't get those lines showing through. So just run back over that to smooth that all out. Oops. There we go. A little bit close to the edge there. I'll just wipe that off with my finger. Alrighty. And, oops. Oh, you use the spreader end regularly, Brenton. That's good. That's good. A lot of people don't actually know that it's there. They think that that's just the end of the glue, like for it to stand up on. A lot of people actually don't know about it. So I thought just recently that I should tell people because some people don't realize. There we go. So there is our insert. And we are done, and Mandy created a card without any ribbon and bling. Oh my goodness. So how cute is that? There we go. And so when it stands up, it'll stand up like that. So from, I mean, you're looking from above, so you might see some of those dimensionals in there. But when you're looking at it from the front, if it's up on a shelf, you won't see those. So there you go. So there's my little taco. This is my actual taco shell that I was using as reference. That was my point of reference. So pretty close. What do you reckon? Pretty close. My taco doesn't sit up as high, but that's okay. This is a flat taco. So I hope you enjoyed my card today. It was a bit epic. It's I've been 2 hours 20, but thankfully I had already prepped a lot of those pieces beforehand. But I hope that you learned some tips and tricks today about different ways of using some of those products and creating different things like the lettuce and the cheese and the meat, the minced beef in there as well, spewing out of the sides of our taco. It's a very full taco. This one will be hard to eat, wouldn't it? So there you go. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. Thanks, Rose, for your hearts. Amber said, if he doesn't request tacos for dinner tomorrow, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because now we really want tacos. Well, maybe I won't give him the option. I'll just say that's what we're having. Brenton says, certainly have learnt so much today. Thank you, Mandy. Oh, you're very welcome, Brenton. I'm so glad. Let me tip the camera up so that I can say goodbye to you all face to face. I always like to do that. Bear with me one moment. I'll cover up the camera and I'll just quickly flick that up. Is that covered up? Did I catch the camera then? I think so. All right, there we go. Let's do a flippity flip. And I'll just, got to take my stand up a little bit, otherwise my camera is too low. There we go. Alrighty. Now let's flip those cameras. There we go. Yay. All right. So interestingly, I'll let you know something about me. Oh, let me just get that light right. Hang on one sec. Okay. So my card that I created today is very similar to the sorts of creativity I used to do. Before I was a card maker, I was a cake decorator. Self-taught, although my mum was an amazing cake decorator and made beautiful cards, but beautiful cakes, I mean. But mum used to work with fondant. I never really got into the whole fondant thing, but I used to do 3D cards. 3D cakes. So I would design them, draw them onto paper, cut out the template, like create my own template, cut them out, make the cake in the shape of, and then decorate them all and everything. And then, then I bought, there was cake books back then that had, the 3D cakes and things like that. So I got some of those and did some of those, which were quick and easy to do. Well, I wouldn't say quick and easy, but easier to do because the patterns were there for you. And they gave you instructions and things, but I used to design my own as well. So I have designed, let's see, I've done Simba the Lion, I've done Humphrey B. Bear, I've done all different sorts of ones that I made my own designs up for. One of them I even just had a serviette. I think it was the Humphrey one. I had a serviette for one of my daughter's birthdays when she was little, and we had a Humphrey theme. Anyone who is a little bit younger might not know who Humphrey B. Bear is, but Humphrey B. Bear was around a lot when I grew up with Humphrey, and Humphrey was still around when my kids were little. They're in their 20s, late 20s now, mid to late 20s they are. So anyway, so I just designed my own template from this serviette and traced it, and then I think I enlarged it or something. I don't know what I did, but anyway, yeah, made this awesome cake. So these types of cards is really down my alley, because creating something my own that is more sort of 3D and designing my own stuff is what I used to do. I don't do as much of it now. I tend to use stuff that's already done. Although I did use the dies, so I didn't create that myself. I did use the dies to create, each of the items that are on the taco, but using them in a different way. So using my creativity to come up with something different. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, a little bit about me. I used to do cakes. I don't do them anymore because, one, my back is too crook and I can't bend over at the cakes all the time now. So I've passed that baton on to my daughters, and they do all the beautiful specialty cakes now. And so it's good. I just sit back and enjoy them. Oh yeah, Humphrey Big Bear and Fat Cat as well. Yes, he was the other one that was around too. Yes, I forgot about him. Yeah. So all those cool characters. I made so many awesome cakes. I did Bananas in Pajamas and the teddies from Bananas in Pajamas, and the play school characters, and Mr. Squiggle. Oh, Mr. Squiggle was one of my best. I loved my Mr. Squiggle cake. I've done clowns, I've done Dolly Varden cakes, I've done, oh, you name it, I've done it. Back in the day. I don't do them anymore. Beautiful horses as well, and I designed one into a unicorn. Started with the horse template that I had previously done, and then designed that into a unicorn. Bought some artificial flowers and made the beautiful mane that had ribbons in it and flowers, and oh, it was gorgeous. But yeah, anyway, I've got all the photos. One day I might share some of them. Or have I already? No, I don't think I did. But yeah, I should one day. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. So yes, creative background. All right. No worries. Well, I'm going to finish up now. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed my card, my taco card. I want to eat it. But looks too good to eat. Well, looks good enough to eat. I think that's what I should have said. Looks good enough to eat. So yeah, anyway, well, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. It was a long one. Thank you for those that stuck with me right throughout. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. So we'll go back to the basics probably for the next card. I'll need a bit of a break. I'll be back live on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. If you are available, I'd love you to join me. Thank you to those of you watching over on YouTube as well. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like what you saw today. And if you click on the bell icon, you can choose how you'd like to be notified when I upload new videos. And thank you all for watching the replay as well if you're watching on Facebook later on. All right, everyone, I will let you go. I'll be live again on Thursday morning. As I said, I'll be back again next Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. And I look forward to seeing you around there. All right, take care, everyone. And as I always say, happy crafting. Bye.